Freedom, man. That's what it's all about. You've got to groove on freedom, like the good book says.
Welcome. You are listening to What on Earth is Happening. This show will discuss the topics of human consciousness, mind control, natural law, the occult, and all issues that affect the freedom of the people of Earth. What on Earth is Happening will endeavor to shine light upon the darkness of our world and to offer empowering solutions to the problems we face as humanity approaches its critical moment of choice. And now, here is your host, Mark Passio.
Welcome one and all, you're listening to What on Earth is Happening right here on Republic Broadcasting. I'm your host Mark Passio, my website whatonearthishappening.com. The network's website republicbroadcasting.org. Today is Saturday, November 8th, 2014. This show is live every Saturday evening from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central Time. And yes, you heard me right, folks. From now until further notice, this show is going to be a 2-hour broadcast. I regret to inform people of that. The scheduling on the network end has changed a little bit, and I'm going to be on for 2 hours every Saturday evening instead of 3 until further notice. I've been told that that may go back to being a 3-hour time slot at some point in the future. The network's juggling some things around, and that's fine. I'm sure it will work out fine, and if it goes back to 3 hours, so be it. But for now, until things change and we have a different situation, this show will be a 2-hour broadcast every Saturday evening from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. That's really the first announcement that I wanted to make. I do have a great show lined up for you here tonight. In the first part of the show, I'm going to be talking to a former RBN host and one of the two main organizers of next year's Free Your Mind 3 conference. I'm referring, of course, to Bob Tuskin. Bob is one of the new Free Your Mind 3 organizers with, of course, John G. Vibes. And I'm going to be bringing Bob on in the first part of the show to discuss the Free Your Mind 3 conference, make the announcement official. And I want to give the call-in number right before we even really start in tonight, because I'd really like to have some people call in and talk to Bob and ask Bob questions about the conference. And we want to get your take on maybe what you want to see happen at the Free Your Mind 3 conference, potential speakers that you might like to see there, because new speakers are going to be added. The call-in number to join us here on the air with my guest Bob Tuskin coming up in a few moments is 800-313-9443. Once again, the call-in number to join me and my guest Bob Tuskin regarding the Free Your Mind conference in the first part of the show tonight is 800-313-9443. Call in right now and get in the caller queue to talk to me and Bob Tuskin about the Free Your Mind 3 conference. So in the later part of the show, I'm going to continue with the Cosmic Abandonment Extended Presentation. Cosmic Abandonment is a presentation that explores the connection between the interference theory of human origins and the current human condition. In the later part of the show, when I get back into the Cosmic Abandonment presentation, I'm going to be covering what I call the unwritten story of our future, which is part 3, the third and final part of the Cosmic Abandonment extended presentation. That's coming up later on What on Earth is Happening on tonight's broadcast. The big event announcement, of course, before I bring my guest on to the air, the Free Your Mind 3 conference coming up in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. April 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2015. The dates are official. They've been announced. The event is taking place at the Sheraton Bucks County Hotel. The Sheraton Bucks County is a beautiful hotel with a great ballroom style theater room that is where the conference is going to be taking place. There's going to be a meet and greet with the speakers on the first evening, April 10th, Friday night. This is going to be at 400 North Oxford Valley Road in Langhorne, Pennsylvania. Langhorne is spelled Langhorne, Langhorne, PA, just outside of the city limits of Philadelphia, a little bit to the north of the city. And it's going to be a great venue for this event coming up next year. The speakers that are already confirmed for the event are as follows: Bob Tuskin, Clint Richardson, Curtis the Illuminated One Davis, Derek Brose, Ed Fortune, Frater X. Ed Fortune, of course, is known as the New Jersey Weed Man, for those people who are familiar with him. Frater X. Freeman, returning to the Free Your Mind 3 conference, as is Fritz Springmeyer. Also Jay Parker. John Vibes, one of the main organizers for next year's conference. Josie the Outlaw Wales. Larkin Rose. And somebody you may or may not have heard of, somebody named Mark Passio, will also be speaking at the Free Your Mind 3 conference, April 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2015, at the Sheraton Bucks County Hotel, 400 North Oxford Valley Road in Langhorne, Pennsylvania. Get your tickets in advance. An all-weekend pass, only $130, the cheapest ticket that you will possibly find for a 3-day conference of this scope and magnitude, with the kind of high-caliber speakers, whistleblowers, researchers that will be presenting. April 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2015, an all-weekend pass for the conference, only $130. The best way to support this event, ladies and gentlemen, is to get your tickets in advance. This is the best way. If you want to help spread the word about human freedom, if you want to help these whistleblowers be able to tell their stories, get out there, reach other people's minds, bring everybody together so they can network, come together, meet each other, meet new people. Okay, the best way to support this effort, because this is a task that takes a lot of resources. Okay, you have to get the venue lined up, which is thousands of dollars. You have to pay for all of the speakers' travel and lodging expenses, which goes into the tens of thousands. Okay, I mean, when it's all said and done, a conference of this magnitude costs probably close to $30,000, if not more, to really do right, to do it well. Okay, so, the best way to support this effort is get onto the website and get your tickets in advance. Buy an all-weekend pass to support the effort. We're really asking people, even if you cannot attend, support by buying a ticket. Get a ticket in advance. Make your travel arrangements now. If you know that you want to go, get the ticket first. Then you can make, travel and lodging arrangements soon after you get the tickets. But commit by buying a ticket, and that really helps to promote and to really host the event, because, again, a lot of money is involved in putting on an event like this. So that's the best way anybody can really support the effort. You can get your tickets now. They are already on sale at freeyourmindconference.com. Okay, www.freeyourmindconference.com is the conference's website. And in the next segment of the show, I'm going to be bringing on my special guest, Bob Tuskin, one of the main organizers of the Free Your Mind 3 conference in April of 2015. And we want to hear from you. We want to know what you want to see at the Free Your Mind 3 conference. We want to know who you might want as a guest, as a speaker at the conference. And we just want to get your general input, and Bob's going to be making some announcements as well. So that's coming up in the next segment. The toll-free number to join us, get in the call queue, 800-313-9443. We'll be right back with Bob Tuskin. Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to What on Earth is Happening, right here on Republic Broadcasting. I'm your host, Mark Passio. My website, whatonearthishappening.com. All right, I'm going to go to our special guest, one of the main organizers of next year's upcoming Free Your Mind 3 conference in April of 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to What on Earth is Happening. My special guest, Bob Tuskin. Bob, welcome to the show.
Getting ready for a revolution here, Mark.
I've been ready, my friend.
I know. Let's get it on.
Absolutely.
That's what I got to say. At any moment, at any given time, we will experience a massive collapse. Whether that's because of a financial reason or a solar flare or something else, it doesn't matter. We're going to experience it, and I'm sure of this. And every opportunity we get to get together in person and learn from whistleblowers and researchers and thinkers and learn from each other and hang out with each other and share with each other. It's an opportunity that we must cherish and we must not take for granted. And that's why these conferences are so incredibly important and so powerful. And the Free Your Mind Conference is definitely going to continue the legacy of the last two with the upcoming conference this April 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Absolutely.
There's something about being there, Mark.
Yeah.
I come
nothing
I
compares with being there live. I mean, it is one thing seeing it, recorded in HD on, a YouTube channel or something like that, but it really can't be understated to say how palpable and tangible the energy in the air with that many conscious people in one venue together is. When you gather those kind of minds, it's an absolutely amazing experience that will really stay with you for the rest of your life.
I guarantee it. We're going to put these talks on YouTube like we have in the past, and they're going to be out there. And I hesitate in saying that because I don't want to deter ticket sales, because as you just mentioned, we don't have any money up front for this event. This event is manifested strictly from those out there who want to support it. And if nobody supports it in the beginning, then it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. We'll have to refund tickets. Well, I don't know what would happen, but that's not an option in my mind. It's going to take place like it did the last 3 times. This isn't the law of attraction BS. This isn't no new age BS.
Right.
This is a matter of manifesting this because people are hungry for the truth. They're hungry for that camaraderie, and they want to get together, and that's what the Free Your Mind Conference is. It's for that purpose entirely.
Bob,
and,
do you know what an experiment I would really like to see happen as part of this conference? I'll lay this out on the table, my kind of intention for next year's event. Okay. I would like the people who really want to attend this conference and who have the ability to attend it and are going to go, okay? I would like to see them reach out to another individual who is not as consciously aware as they are and bring them to the event. Say, hey, mom, dad, sister, brother, son, whoever, okay? Come with me to this event. Make it a family or friend thing and say, I would like you to be here with me. Spend some time with me, even if you go for a day, if you go for 2 days, or if you go for the whole 3-day weekend. Come out and bring someone who needs to hear this information.
What do you think would happen?
I think that the person's worldview would totally change in that short a period of time by seeing how many conscious people are all coming together and supporting the same basic information. Talking about, how we have to completely change our paradigm, how we need to change our worldview, how we need to change our mindset and the way we see things. And we're going to talk about the deep, dark problems that are going on in the world. And a lot of people are going to be presenting solutions at this event. And it's not even just about the speakers. It's about coming out there and networking with a lot of other conscious individuals. That's what happens at these events. Friendships are formed there. And, it's just, again, I just can't understate when you go and you attend something like this live, it stays with you for the duration of your lifetime, because you are actually changed by the energy of an event like this, being around this many people in one place who are really kind of largely all on the same page and are largely very, very conscious individuals. And you could really help, your fellow family member or friend who might not know as much as you do by reaching out and saying, I want to bring you to this event. I want you to be a part of it. I want you to experience it with me. I don't think you could do anything better for a human being that you're trying to help wake up.
I wonder how that would play out, though, Mark. My idea is that, okay, you might have a couple of different things come from that. So you bring your mom, your friend, your sister, whoever that is completely in the dark, so to speak. But maybe they have an open mind enough to come with you and spend the time to go there.
Right.
But this flood, this absolute massive tidal wave of consciousness and light just encompasses them on a 3-day period all at once. They live their whole lives in a box, in this, blanket of deception. And all of a sudden that blanket all at once is removed. Do you have this phenomena where you you've woken up a sleeping dog and it bites you? I mean, what happens? Do they go jump off of a bridge afterwards? It would be incredible to see what kind of a reaction people have. I think they can do a couple things. They can continue to go down that journey of learning and go down that journey of enlightenment, for lack of a better term, or they can put their heads back in the sand like an ostrich.
Right. And I could tell you a small, quick anecdote about, a gentleman, I won't mention his name, who attended the second Free Your Mind conference, who was invited, by Barb, and kind of, wasn't very conscious about these type of topics. But after attending the event, he did react with a little bit of fear and hesitation and trepidation, you might say, because there was some heavy subject matter going on there, especially with, people like Kathy O'Brien and Jay Parker and Fritz Springmeier, etc. And, although the initial reaction was, wow, this is really heavy, dark, even frightening material in many cases, afterward, the actual energy, the ripple effect, you might say, didn't hit him until much later. Like months later down the line, he would talk to Barb and say, I'm seeing the things that you guys were talking about at that event, and I'm becoming aware that this is what is really going on, and that I really need to pay attention, and I'm waking up to all of this, and it wasn't until those seeds were planted in fertile ground, and then later on, it kind of bore fruit later down the line. And that's how it will happen for many people like that who may not previously have been exposed to a lot of material like is going to be discussed, but you will be planting seeds often in fertile soil, and that will bear fruit later on down the line. At least that's how it played out for some of the people I know who came with an open mind to the other conferences, and later on, they kind of had an awakening.
Absolutely amazing. I can't wait to hear from the listeners. 800-313-9443. So excited about this conference, and thank you as always for having found it and continued to be a part of this conference. It couldn't be the Free Your Mind conference without Mark Passio, folks.
I appreciate that, Bob. And when I was starting this idea back in, I guess it was 2009 or so, I did it on the inspiration of a woman named Betsy Metz, who in this area, just outside of Philadelphia, in the main line area, hosted a conference about 9/11 truth. And when I attended that conference, I said, I could do something like this. I had no resources at my disposal, no money on which to do it, just an idea. I said, I want to do a conference about consciousness, mind control, and the occult, the topics I care about and talk about, and we made it happen. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Free Your Mind 3 conference is going to wake up a lot of individuals from their sleep. That's what it's designed to do. It's a conference on consciousness, mind control, and the occult coming up April 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2015. My special guest, Bob Tuskin, one of the main organizers of next year's Free Your Mind 3 conference. And we're going to go to your calls in this segment. Just want to finish telling people, I started this conference being inspired by another conference organizer, Betsy Metz, in this area, who hosted a conference about 9/11 truth. Upon attending that and seeing what a great job she did organizing that event, I said, I think I could do this. I want to do this. I want to put together a conference, and I want to do it on the topics that I think people really need to know about. Even more so than anything else, and that's, mind control, all the different aspects of the occult, and human consciousness in general, and where it is now and where it needs to go, and so that inspired me to start, getting organizers together and putting a group together in the Philadelphia area, and the rest is history. We hosted 2 conferences right in the city of Philadelphia in 2011 and 2013, Free Your Mind 1 and 2. All the videos are up on the website and the YouTube channel, of course. People can check out what the past material was like. It's only going to get better and better, and I stepped down from the organizational role because it was very taxing, and what I really want to do is present. I'm a researcher, I'm a whistleblower, I'm a presenter, and that's what I do best. I speak to people. I want to get up there and give the best presentation I know how to make and to deliver. And not that I don't think I did a bad job. I think I did a pretty decent job organizing the other 2 events, but I think that kind of workload of organizing and presenting was a little bit tough, and so I was looking for other dedicated organizers, and Bob and John stepped up to the task. They stepped up to the plate and said, we would like to take this over and continue it in the tradition that you began. And, they're going to take the reins from here on out in the organizational capacity. And I'm going to do what I feel I do best, which is present. So that's, how Bob and John came on board. And so far, I think they're doing a really great job. The new website is up. The new venue is secured. The dates are announced. The tickets are on sale. And looks like they have a really great lineup of speakers already, with more to be announced.
Yeah, we're really working hard, Mark, to bring on some new speakers. We want to get your input on that because, we really want to continue to widen our horizons with speakers at the conference. Some of the old speakers that have been at the conference in the past will be there again, and a few more will be announced shortly. We're still working on some of the loose ends with a few speakers before we make those announcements official. And these are going to be speakers that the listeners know. I don't want to make any hints, but these are going to be several, well-known individuals who have been presenting in this field for some time now and are going to be presenting again at the 3rd Free Your Mind conference in April. But I'd love to hear from the listeners. I know it's been a while since I've been on the air. I've taken a bit of a hiatus with my own show, working feverishly behind the scenes on the conference and to figure out what my next incarnation is going to be of the Bob Tuskin show and my research. Without further ado, I'll let you start grabbing some of these calls. I see the lines are lit up.
Absolutely. The phone lines are full, so let's start going to some callers. Let's hear from Andrew in Arizona. Andrew, you're live on What on Earth is Happening with our special guest, Free Your Mind 3 organizer, Bob Tuskin. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Mark. Hello, Bob. How you guys doing?
Hey,
doing
man.
Well.
Mark, great work on the Streetwise Spirituality.
Thank you.
It was excellent. Really reminds me, you kind of remind me of a young Jordan Maxwell a little bit.
I appreciate that. That's a high compliment.
Yeah, and thank you, Bob Tuskin, for your work as well.
Yeah, we wanted to have Jordan at the conference, and we did reach out to him and speak with him. Because he's in his old age now, I guess I can say that without being too derogatory. He's not able to travel to be there, but he's definitely there in spirit, and we're definitely all big fans of his work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's who I was going to recommend as a guest speaker. But I'm also interested in hearing what Jay Parker has to say, maybe more on the satanic, kind of agenda and stuff. So,
I mean, he was there, man. He was there. I mean, there's something that comes with having lived that and continue to live it. This trauma, we've all experienced it on different levels, and we've all been around these occult groups on different levels, perhaps. But he lives with it to this day, and he is an extremely powerful speaker, and he definitely needs to be heard at the third conference.
Without any question. And Jay will also be promoting the conference on his own radio show, SRA Today, which is hosted on the Blog Talk Network. So check that out as well.
Yeah, I'd love to speak to Jay Parker because I do have a friend who was ritualistically abused.
Mm-hmm.
And I did hear their story, and it's very disturbing. There was underground tunnels underneath this church, and it went into a separate house. And I can get into more detail. And I would love to speak with Jay Parker.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You should call into his show. He does his show every Sunday on Blog Talk. Just type in SRA Today, and you'll find it online. He does it Sunday 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, fantastic. Anyways, Mark, I'm a film student right now.
Okay.
I'm working on my own allegory because I love allegories and I like network. And,
yes.
Awesome. We put in about $20,000 into this film I'm working on. It's going to have props, wardrobe, makeup, visual effects. It's going to be really groundbreaking, and I'm hoping to get it out there pretty soon.
Great. I wish you the best of luck with it.
It's going to be similar to Brazil, like Terry Gilliam's work.
Yes.
Which is a great allegory. Anyways, I'm very disturbed by 9/11 and what's going on in this country. The desensitization of a lot of the citizens when it comes to violence.
Yep.
You see on TV. The clock is ticking for us. We have to do something about this very soon.
All the police brutality and total, raping of human rights that are being done by police in this country, trying to desensitize people to it and accept it like this is just everyday normality. That's what we see every single day. I hear
the scary thing, Mark,
brutalization story.
The scary thing is it is everyday brutality.
Every day.
Every single day. John Vibes, my co-organizer, he writes for the Free Thought Project.
Right.
And there is every single day a new article about some guy in a fancy costume with a shiny badge that the occult spits on doing some act of cowardly absurdity.
Bob, I think the number stands at almost 5,300 people have been murdered at the hands of police since 9/11, 2001. Far more people dead at the hands of police in this country than died in the 2001 9/11 event. Have died since that date at the hands of police.
Police and doctors. The two biggest killers on this planet.
In the millions, if not the hundreds of thousands, Of course.
The biggest killers, police, doctors, and politicians. There you go. That's the holy trinity of murderers.
Yep. Absolutely.
It really reminds me of what the people of Nazi Germany were probably going through. As things were kind of going downhill. People probably knew, oh shit. Some people.
Oh, hey man, we got to watch our language, but appreciate it.
Yeah. Anyways, the clock is ticking, and I think we need to get rid of all the chemicals that are building up in our bodies. We need to be juicing.
That's it.
I know cilantro, parsley is very good for removing heavy metals. Have a masticating juicer myself. Mark, you should definitely get a masticating juicer.
Oh, I have one. I have one of each kind.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, man.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, they're really great. I mean, that's the thing. People always ask me, what's the first thing I should do? If you want me to do one thing or change one thing, I say improve your diet. Get on to juicing, get on to blending, get on to making green smoothies, get a single auger juicer. You can get a single auger juicer on eBay for $90. These things used to be $450 only a couple years back. Now, $90 on eBay gets you a great vertical single auger juicer that you could totally extract all the micronutrients out of, good fruits and vegetables and, really improve your diet and as a result really improve your mental faculties.
Sure. Great behind-the-scenes story. Every time we're up there in Philly for the conferences, Mark treats us for some juice. It's out of this world.
We'll be right back, everyone, talking to our special guest, Bob Tuskin, about the Free Your Mind 3 conference. More of your calls coming up. Stay with us.
Code of silence that we don't dare speak. There's a wall between us and a river so deep. We keep pretending that there's nothing wrong. There's a code of silence and it can't go on.
That's right, folks. The Code of Silence cannot go on, and it will be ended at the Free Your Mind 3 conference, as it has been in the former Free Your Mind conferences. Whistleblowers galore at these events, ladies and gentlemen, and bringing forward empowering information that you will hear nowhere else. April 10th, 11th, and 12th of 2015, the Free Your Mind Free Conference at the Sheraton Bucks County Hotel, 400 North Oxford Valley Road in Langhorne, Pennsylvania. Tickets are on sale right now. An all-weekend pass, only $130. That's the early bird special. Go to the freeyourmindconference.com website and get your tickets today. Buying your tickets in advance is the best way to support this event and its organizational team, because the monies that are received from early ticket sales will help to pay for the conference venue, for the speakers' travel arrangements, and for the speakers' lodging arrangements. And that is what takes the bulk of hosting a conference like this, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to support this effort, and you want to support this conference and its organizers, please go to the freeyourmindconference.com website and get your tickets in advance. That's the key phrase. Get them now. Okay?
I mean, Mark, it doesn't happen otherwise. I hate to say that. And Federal Reserve notes suck, and it's a crappy thing to have to sit here and... I mean, we're not begging. If you see value in this, financially, you got to put your money, your Federal Reserve notes where your mouth is.
Because unfortunately, the people who facilitate travel aren't going to take anything. They're not just going to do this because out of the kindness of their heart and say, "Hey, Fritz Springmeier needs to get to Philadelphia, so let's just put him on a plane for free." The world, unfortunately, doesn't work that way yet. Okay.
We want donations. If you don't want to be there in person, I know a lot of people out there listening, they really value the talks that are put up on YouTube. They really value your show and the speakers at the conference. Donate. There's an easy way to donate. It's the equivalent of being there in spirit, if you will. That's one option. And also, we're looking for sponsors. If you have a business, if you have something that you would like to have associated with the conference, sponsor the conference. That's a great way to get involved, and there's plenty of opportunities there as well. Just go to the website freeyourmindconference.com and you can find all of that there.
Real quick, folks, another quick rundown of the speakers so far. Bob Tuskin, Clint Richardson, Curtis, the Illuminated One Davis, Derek Brose, New Jersey Weedman Ed Fortune, Frater X, Freeman, legendary Freeman, Fritz Springmeier, one of the pioneers in this whole field of endeavor, Jay Parker, John G. Vibes, Josie the Outlaw Wales, Larkin Rose, and myself, Mark Passio. It's already an all-star lineup. It's only going to get better from here on out. Bob, let's go back to the phones and hear what other people have to say about the conference. Let's hear from Celt in the United Kingdom. You're live on What on Earth is Happening with my special guest, Bob Tuskin. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, how are you? Yes.
Hey, man.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Hear me?
Yes, we can.
We can. Hello for the
just
15th
from England on a mobile phone, so not a great connection. Well, first of all, I just wanted to say I really wish I could be able to come over and come to the conference, but even if I had the money, I got arrested for marijuana when I was 18, so they probably wouldn't even let me in the fucking country. Sorry, I forgot. I'm not allowed to swear. But Mark, what I really wanted to see, ask you about or comment on, was get your comments on, was something that happened to me a while ago. I was lucky enough to be the kind of person who didn't ever take any hallucinogenic lightly.
Okay.
So when I took hallucinogenics in my early adulthood, I basically noticed, because I was inclined to observe, a certain pattern happening. And that pattern was what I call the spiral of 7.
Okay.
Starts with visual beauty, the surface of things, moves to spiritual beauty, the deeper aspect of life, then to molecular or atomic beauty, the kind of intricacies and precision balance of it all, which leads to thoughts of educational beauty, that point at which you kind of realize that you're learning something and try to enhance that process. After that comes the divine comedy, some comical or mad moment where you realize one of the contradictory aspects of existence,
sure,
going into some sort of a practicality of life, and finally coming round to just a bit that I used to call that bit where you feel like you're looking into the eyes of God, and then you go round the spiral again. And it was something that was definitely happening to me rather than I was making happen.
Sure.
And the only thing I've ever come across that's come anywhere near to reminding me of that or seeming similar was the work that I saw you did on natural law.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. That can be a psychedelic experience in and of itself. I mean, you think about what, natural law helps us to do. It helps us, coming into harmony with that understanding helps us to make our minds clean once again, sanitize the mind. That's what psychedelic means, to make the mind clear, to clear it out, and that's what an understanding of natural law will do as well. There's nothing more psychedelic than that as far as I'm concerned. So, Salt, I really appreciate those sentiments.
As I said, I was very much I very much got a grip of it myself and figured it out myself. But what I really wanted to thank you for was when I watched the natural law presentation that you did, and I watched it about 6 or 7 times. I'm really taking it on board. The bit where you talk about the 8th encompassing principle,
of
which is care.
Yes.
And that really opened it up for me, because then I realized that when you're going around the spiral, that 8th point, that point in between the eyes of God and the back to the visual beauty side of it, you have a moment where you get to choose. You get to decide whether you're going to be flippant and just, observe this on a superficial level and have a superficial journey around the spiral, or whether you want to really apply your brain
and get involved
out of it as you can.
Yes, exactly.
And that's the third part of the trivium, which is the rhetoric stage, and applying that wisdom. And it's a fascinating talk we're having here. Entheogens has always been a part of my personal research, and you guys really put something together in my mind that I had never thought about before, and it's really profound. It's that entheogens, a lot like understanding natural law and several of the things Mark brings up in his presentation on that, is a removal of ego. It removes all the filters, if you will. And that right there takes us to nature and truth. And that right there, to me, is one of the most pure and profound states of consciousness that you can be in. And it's exactly what the powers that shouldn't be, the satanic scumbags, want to take you out of.
Yep.
And that is essentially why they want to keep us mind controlled.
Yep. And like I say, natural law is the most occulted information. If you want to know what the occult is, ultimately it comes down to what natural law is all about, which is what they are trying to keep hidden, the very meaning of the word occult. That's why, because if people don't grasp that understanding, they can continue to be enslaved. That they're disempowered and they're easily manipulated, and they don't know the nature of the reality they're living in, and they don't know the nature of truth, and therefore they can be easily led and swayed in whatever direction these dark forces want to take them in. And once you de-occult that knowledge, and then you grasp it and you deeply integrate it in your life and act upon it, you become empowered and you cannot be manipulated anymore. Conscience, The true understanding of the difference between right and wrong, if definitively acted upon and you choose the right over the wrong action, there's nobody that can sway you or manipulate you toward that dark side anymore. And that's what this is ultimately all about, is standing firmly in that truth.
Yeah, I mean, like, for a lot of years, and basically until I saw your natural law presentation, I kind of had truth of PTSD, because my whole life, I came to, I'm not perfect, I haven't followed natural law perfectly my whole life, but I've had an instinct for, I mean, my dad's a policeman, and I told him when I was 12 years old that there was an inherent lack of morality in what he did, because he followed orders.
Right.
And there may come down a bad order. And he was like, "Rrr." Now he's starting to say that. Now I'm starting chip by chip to get through to him. I mean, basically that's caused by the fact that in England, it's only very recently that they've started hiring the F-wit psychopath as the candidate for police. Until very recently, there was still quite a lot of good policemen,
So since you brought up this topic, just as a brief aside, or maybe you could call it an announcement of sorts. I already know what my topic of my presentation is going to be at the Free Your Mind 3 conference. So I'll just throw this out there. My topic is going to be about order followers. This is what I'm going to talk about at the conference.
Wow.
And I'm going to really put the pedal to the floor on this topic at this event.
Mark, we just sold out on tickets.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. I'm going to hold Bob on for another segment or two so we can get through to some more of your calls. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to What on Earth is Happening. I'm your host, Mark Passio. My website, whatonearthishappening.com. Holding Bob Tuskin over into the second hour of tonight's show. We have some more callers on the line, Bob. Let's go to Dave in New York. Dave, you're live on What on Earth is Happening with my special guest, Bob Tuskin.
Mark.
Yes.
Mark and Bob, thank you for taking my call, guys.
Sure.
Hey.
Mark, first I want to say that your work has helped raise me in recent months, and I have a lot of gratitude.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, thanks. I have a bunch of stuff I'd love to talk about, but I guess in terms of the conference, one thought I had was that
Did we lose you, Dave?
there was
Oh, no,
anybody,
there you
I have
go.
a
Okay, sorry.
reputation for this. If there was anyone who could give advice on people who were going through trauma based on quote-unquote waking up. And I remember years ago when I was first going down some rabbit holes, I came across a couple therapists who specialized in people who were dealing with peak oil. And I feel like this is a similar model in some ways.
Yeah, it would be interesting to get some people who deal with this purely from the psychological perspective of what's going on in the world and how it's affecting people. That would certainly fit into the human consciousness angle of the conference. Bob, what do you think of something like that? Maybe bringing on some type of a quote unquote professional psychologist or someone who helps people through emotional difficulties or problems.
I had a guest on. His name escapes me. He's in Texas, and he has an institute of helping heal trauma. He got out of the psychiatry business. What is his name? It's gonna kill me. I had a guest on, and he would be perfect for this because he talks about healing people who have been through intense trauma, and he takes his experience having written many books. Not that his authority being a PhD in whatever psychology and whatnot really is the end all. But he really does do a good job, and it's killing me. Somebody's going to know who I'm talking about here. I'm looking through my Skype contacts to find him, but when I think of it, I'll let you know. I think that would be a great addition. Thanks for the suggestion.
And Dave, it's kind of funny that you even mentioned this topic in general of healing from trauma or healing from abuse, because this is kind of like the first part of this third section that I'm about to go in on the Cosmic Abandonment extended presentation, healing from trauma, healing from abuse, the whole abuse victim cycle and how to transcend it is one of the first parts of this, end part of this presentation. And again, we may not even get to it this week, folks. Talking about the Free Your Mind conference is going to take precedence here this week because I have Bob with us. We have lots of callers on the line. Clearly want to ask both of us questions and talk about the conference a little bit, and that's like kind of the main focus for tonight. So this material can wait. It will be there, and I could go into it at any given time. But I think it's really important to get the word out about the Free Your Mind conference tonight and take some of your calls. So Dave, did you have anything else, or is that all?
I just want to, before I go, I want to second what the previous caller was talking about.
Okay.
And say that when I first got into the natural law seminar, as I was watching it, I had the thought, this is how I think when I'm tripping. I have some friends who can vouch that after I watched it, I was like, this was arguably the most psychedelic experience of my life outside of ...
That's totally awesome. I think there can be no higher compliment than that, because ultimately that's what real entheogens are designed to do, to put us in a mind state that is closer to truth and divinity and clarity. And, as assistants, if they're used wisely, if they're used properly, that's what they have the ability to do. And that's just what I look at myself, an assistant to help someone clean up the false paradigms that they're clinging on to mentally and emotionally and, psychologically, and get all of that mental, garbage and clean it up and just, make the mind clear enough for them to see what really is, just to see the truth as it really is out there. And that's all I can hope to assist somebody in doing. So to call my work, a psychedelic experience, I consider it a high compliment.
A high compliment?
A high compliment, yes.
Okay, just checking.
Rimshot.
Pun intended.
I was up in Manchester, and I'm hoping to be in Philadelphia on Sunday. So keep up the good work, guys, and go with God. God bless.
Absolutely, Dave. Thank you so much for the call and the encouraging words. Let's hear from Thomas in South Carolina. Thomas, you're live on What on Earth is Happening with my special guest, Free Your Mind 3 organizer, Bob Tuskin. Welcome to the show.
Gentlemen, how are you doing this evening?
Doing well.
I started listening to your show, Mr. Passio, last week. I apologize, I'm not too familiar with Bob's work. I did just search his site. And, seems a very in-tune gentleman as well. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Sure.
Don't be too sure of that, but anyways.
No, Bob's very in tune. Absolutely.
I want to make you guys
I would have not handed off the reins to an event such as the Free Your Mind conference to him if I didn't think so myself. So
okay.
The conference is in good hands.
I trust your opinion on that, Mark. I want to make you guys aware. I'm sure you're aware of this phenomenon, but maybe stress it a little to you a little more, that there is something that can free us all from the entanglements that we're in right now. And it's called the Bitcoin. And I know you guys are aware of it, but I'm guessing that you don't really fully understand how powerful that technology is.
No, I really do, Thomas. I use Bitcoin, and I understand how it can help transition us away from the type of stranglehold fiat currency that we're attached to that is regulated by the Federal Reserve System. Bitcoin is a type of fiat currency as well that exists electronically, and it's a cryptocurrency, meaning it works on encrypted transactions through what's known as a blockchain. Not to get too technical, but it's really funny and very synchronistic that you would mention this, because I actually just met with a gentleman earlier today who's a listener to my show who made a Bitcoin donation to What on Earth is Happening. So I just actually engaged in a Bitcoin transaction earlier today. So it's something I've been using more. Yeah.
And I'm going to make one to your conference, because I fell down the Bitcoin rabbit hole really luckily in 2010, and I own quite a few of them, and I'm using it's freed me, let's just say that. I bought 1,000 of them when they were at 25 cents.
Wow.
That'll give you any kind of indication. And
yeah, that'll give me some indication about, being that they're up over $350 now.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm not one of those person that's just a listener. I've kind of dedicated my life to trying to spread the word about it. I'm actually working with an actor right now that lives in my area promoting his coin.
Very cool. The first Bitcoin conference was actually held here in Philadelphia at a location where Truth, Freedom, Prosperity, a group that I work with, has hosted many events in Center City, Philadelphia. It was the Bitcoin Summit. I actually sat and watched the whole thing. I wasn't able to attend live. I had some other commitments, but watched the whole conference that was hosted online. I definitely encourage people to do that and check it out. A lot of different perspectives were presented there, and if you aren't familiar with Bitcoin, you could become familiar by checking out the Bitcoin Summit that is available on YouTube.
Hey, Thomas, email me, man. Let's talk, and we'll get you involved. All right, thanks.
Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom.
Man, your music kicks ass, Mark. I'm jealous.
I've been getting emails about how terrible it is and not non-suited to the type of material that I talk about, which I don't.
What the hell are they listening to?
That's what I'm saying, Bob, because, I think rock music and metal music is the music of rebellion. The lyrics talk about freedom. The lyrics talk about escape from mind control. I'm personally into this stuff, and, I think it's very suitable to it personally, but hey, to each his own, But what do you say we go back to the phones and talk a little bit more about the conference?
Yeah, let's do it. And by the way, the person I was thinking of from the Psychological Trauma Institute is Colin Ross, Dr.
Yes.
Colin Ross.
I think he would be great for an event like this.
Do you know him?
I am familiar with some of his work.
Yeah, I think he'd be great too. So another great suggestion. That's why I'm excited about this show tonight. We're getting some great calls.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate the input. So we'll reach out to Colin Ross and see if he'll be a part of the conference.
Cool. All right, let's hear from Daniel is it Los Angeles or Louisiana? Daniel, you're live on What on Earth is Happening. Welcome.
Oh, hey, what's happening, man? Yeah, it's Daniel from the Dirty South.
Oh, yeah. I know Dan from Louisiana.
All right.
What's happening, Bob? What's good?
Hey, man. An old-time caller, Mark, to my show. One of the frequent callers that I miss not doing my show. So,
great.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, yeah, I know you was holding it down with RBN for a while. This cat come in your slot. Y'all spending some legit game on a Free Your Mind conference. I got 130 down on that right now. All right, because
awesome,
I'm trying to make a name for myself in this alternative media blogosphere.
Well, it's funny you say that because a lot of people want to get involved, and they want to look for the opportunity to do that. And the conference is a great way to get involved, to get out there and network with these people, start to make connections, and it's a great opportunity to do that. So I think you're onto something there in saying that you're trying to get more active, and the conference is a great place to try to work on that.
Yeah. I could bring a Second Amendment angle. I could bring a health foods angle. I can bring a conspiracy theory angle to the conference. You know, I'm excited about it. You know, it's a long ways away, but hey, you know, I mean, I'll make a meetup. I'll make a meetup Monday, and if there's anybody that you know is in my area that wants to mac about just New World Order stuff and just free your mind stuff, like I'll make a meetup like Monday.
Yeah, that's good, but Mark doesn't eat meat, so this isn't the show to talk about making your meetup.
I'm gonna have him there. I'm just saying, I'm rambling. I'm sorry, Bob.
Well, good to hear from you, Dan.
Huh?
Good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you want to hit up some face-to-face time on Skype about this Free Your Mind conference, let me know.
All right, hit me up. You know how to reach me. And, you know, that's the thing, Mark. I'm out there for anybody to reach. If you want to get involved in any way with the conference, if you want to help out, get the word out, just reach out to me. You know, it's not like we're hiding behind some thick veil of several people. I'm just a dude that is like many of the listeners and everyone else out there that appreciates this kind of research and wants to get involved. So reach out to me. Go to the website. You can email me personally, thebobtuskinshow@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Ultimately, we're just basic, down-to-earth people who want to live free, want to spread the message of truth, want to spread the message of freedom, and want to bring together people so that they can network and spread these ideas themselves as well. So let's hear from another caller. Ladies and gentlemen, on the line with us, one of the speakers from the Free Your Mind 2 conference, and who is going to be hosting a meditation gathering at Free Your Mind 3. Welcome to this show, Swami Shivananda Giri from Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, Swami Shivananda Giri.
Namaste and blessings. I welcome everyone with great love and great respect from the heart of all. Outstanding to be on the airwaves with two of my favorite humans cruising around the planet and working for the upliftment of humanity.
That's right. Swami, you're going to be a big part of Free Your Mind 3 as well. Let's talk about that.
Well, I'm not sure what all is going to happen, but I'm looking forward to whatever does happen. You know, last time, showed up there, and next thing I knew, I'm at your house, and you're saying, oh, hey, we've got a slot. Would you like to do a talk in the morning?
Amazing synchronicity. Yep. Synchronicity was just...
I could talk about something for an hour.
Synchronicity and good fortune. It just all came together, you know, and exactly what was supposed to happen, happened.
And then we had that room that, you know, we put together the meditation gatherings.
Yes.
And a lot of people benefited from that, got to experience something from inside themselves, got to have some inner experiences.
That's right. Including myself. I mean, right before I went onto the stage to deliver my New Age BS and the Suppression of the Sacred Masculine presentation, I sat in that meditation gathering with you in the other hall at the Quaker Meeting House. And it really helped me focus myself and gather my thoughts and gather what I knew I needed to get up there and do at that event.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I got the... now, here's what I want to really bring out and speak to for everybody listening live or in the archives, podcasts later, whatever. You, the listener, right now, doesn't matter what your name is, each and every human you run into at Free Your Mind 3 is going to welcome you like a brother.
That's right.
Like a sister.
Yep.
It's the most amazing vibe. I've had the opportunity in my 51 years cruising around the planet to be around people with name and fame and this, that, and the other. But you know what?
Swami, you're not kidding, and you're not just saying that. I know because I felt it myself. You know, there were speakers, you know, big name speakers at some of these events, and they personally came up to me, thanked me for hosting the conference, for being one of the organizers of the conference, and said, this is the best event I've ever been to. And they must have spoken at a whole lot of events too, and yet they said the energy at this event is the best I've ever felt.
It was amazing. You would think, being, you know, in and amongst the speakers and that sort of thing, you would see some bristling and some attitude. None of that.
Yep.
None of that. And every ticket holder and attendee was hugged and handshaked by everyone they cared to meet. You know? So all these people that you, the listeners, have been listening to through internet radio for all these years, who are part of the Free Your Mind group, whether it's Jay Parker, whether it's Mark Passio, Bob Tuskin, Freighter X, Freeman, come on. You know, I mean, and these are just the names that have been released thus far.
Right.
I can't wait to hear the rest. Every single one of these people, you're going to get to walk up and express personally how they've touched your life, and they're going to be happy to hear it. You're not going to get an attitude of superiority from anyone. All of us are just happy that you're there to share the vibe with us.
Absolutely. Swami, thank you so much for the kind and encouraging words, and thank you for being a part of the conference last year, and thank you in advance for the contribution you'll make this year. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to What on Earth is Happening right here on RBN. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You know the day destroys the night, night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, yeah.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to What on Earth is Happening here on Republic Broadcasting. I'm your host, Mark Passio. My website, whatonearthishappening.com. Talking live with my special guest, Bob Tuskin, this evening about the Free Your Mind 3 conference, and we're taking your calls. I'm just going to keep Bob on until the end of the show, and we'll continue with the Cosmic Abandonment material next week, because I think the Free Your Mind conference announcement of the dates and the venue need to take precedence, and we're interested in hearing your perspective on this conference and what you'd like to see out of it. So let's go back to the phones and let's hear from Ivan in Phoenix. Ivan, you're live on What on Earth is Happening with our special guest, Bob Tuskin. Welcome, my friend.
Hey, Mark and Bob. Thanks for having me on the show right now.
My
sure,
pleasure.
Ivan. Good to hear your voice. Ivan was a great help at the last conference.
Absolutely.
He's hosted his own meetups, vegetarian meetups in Arizona for the Free Your Mind Arizona group, and we always appreciate Ivan's work.
Ivan was a huge.
I don't know about vegetarian.
I think Bob was just gently giving you a little kidding there, but Ivan really was a huge help at the Free Your Mind 2 conference. I mean, I can't thank you enough for the work that you put in at the event in 2013, Ivan. It was just a huge help, and we really appreciate your efforts.
Well, thanks for that. And, that was kind of unintentional. I had bought my ticket, went there with my little camera just as an observer, just to take it in, but I can see that, hands were needed, and that was something leading up to that event that you were always saying, many hands make light work.
That's right.
And that was it. I just found myself putting my hands in where it was needed.
You helped us a lot on the setup day, made that easier, and just helped facilitate anything that we needed during the actual event. And that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about just getting involved. It's really easy once you start doing it. The hard part is making the decision, developing the courage to make the decision to get onto the playing field. You can't put the ball into the game in baseball from the dugout. You got to get onto the field to do that. You can't stay in the grave, that Masonic allegory of rising up from the dead. That's what the game of baseball is all about. You got to get out off the bench and onto the field where the game is played. And that's about getting involved and putting what you know into action, So I commend you, Ivan, for doing that and doing that in your own area with the Free Your Mind Arizona group. And, I hope these groups kind of spring up all over the country. We would love to see something like that happen.
Well, it's happening slowly but surely. It is happening. I've received maybe two more little messages. One out of Washington. They want to try and start something up there. And I saw a message out of New Jersey. And to the ones that are already got up and going, there's one in Colorado. There's one in Georgia.
Beautiful.
I would suggest, this is something I did for the last conference, when you guys are going to probably hold 2 or 3 fundraisers where you do about 10 or 12 hours on one of the radio networks, little marathons, for building up funds. I went ahead and both times for the last one held a meetup out here throughout the whole 10 or 12 hours of the marathon to have members come in, listen, and get some of the information, and hopefully they can call in and make whatever contributions and donations for helping get the funds up.
Yes, we will definitely
with the other meetup groups to do that also.
Yes.
That is, to come together and bring awareness to this.
We are definitely going to try to do that again before this conference. These radio marathons, we would like to do at least a couple of them, more likely than not. So listen, stay tuned and listen for announcements regarding that, and hopefully we can make that happen.
Right, and thank you, Mark. I received the shirt, the What on Earth is Happening shirt, and worked already this week, and I had about 3 or 4 comments from workers that they read the back of the shirt with the 2 mistakes on the path to truth, not starting, not going all the way, and had a few little okay. So that at least planted a little bit of seed of
Cool.
Hey, something's going on here, kind of thing. And then also a coworker whom I shared information with. I told this person about the conference, and they expressed some interest of possibly heading out there and taking this in. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, because the last conference I ran into someone from Arizona, from Phoenix, from one of the other meetup groups out there. So we never know where we're going to run into people and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, Bob, I wanted to bring up, we had one of the meetings online or sharing ideas for the conference, and we threw out some names. And it's pretty interesting that I was thinking of Josie the Outlaw and Clint Richardson, and before I spit it out, you guys already had them in there. I threw out the name Mark Devlin. He's a DJ out of the UK who's focusing a lot on the music industry and the satanic influence through music to the youth. And he contacted me, and we've been in touch. And he's brought up a lot of different local artists that are also awake and sharing information. One of them isn't too far from here in Colorado, this female artist, Elias Clay. And that might be an area that we might want to also address, is the youth. And so there's a lot of hip-hop. They're changing the term now from hip-hop to truth-hop, trying to get the truth information out there. And that's a good avenue to try and get the youth aware of this stuff through some of the rap music and hip-hop music, where the lyrics talk about.
I love conscious... I love conscious rap and conscious hip-hop. I could listen to that a lot as well. Conscious rock really, inspires me a lot, but conscious rap and hip-hop is definitely a very, very, very encouraging genre of music as far as I'm concerned, and that would be great to have something like that.
I think you guys are missing one genre to add there.
What's that?
And that is reggae music.
Absolutely.
Believe it or not, a lot of modern reggae music is really filled with conscious lyrics.
A gentleman wrote a song about Natural Law, who is a member of a reggae band. I really should play it on the air one day, or put it in my bumper music rotation, because it's really, really an excellent song. Maybe I'll even play the whole thing on the air one day. He sent it to me in my email and said it was kind of dedicated to my work, and it is. I believe the song is called Natural Law, and it's really a phenomenal reggae song. So that's something I want to do in the future. I'll have to remind myself to play that on the air one day. Yeah, music should. I think music should be a part of this conference in some form or another. You know, it's something that I think really inspires people, and that right-brained, creative capacity should really be included as part of an event like this. So it's something to look into.
Awesome.
That's pretty much all I have for the call.
Great. Ivan, always a pleasure to speak to you. And, you mentioned the T-shirts. I just want to say a quick thing about that because I have to complete my complete shillery, being that I'm now offering a piece of merchandise in return for a voluntary donation as a gift for a voluntary donation. Of course, that makes me a complete shill, and you have to throw away all the information I've ever said from day one. So I might as well just finish my shillery, complete it by making the announcement officially on the air that there is a What on Earth is Happening promotional T-shirt that is available, and I posted it in my news section. It's at the top of the news section and in the latest news on the left-hand side of the What on Earth is Happening website. I made these shirts when I did the Demystifying the Occult seminar in Connecticut in last month in October, and we printed up some shirts to bring and sell at that event, and I had plenty left over because I printed up a nice big batch of them, and they're all professionally silk screened. They're on good high quality black T-shirts. The front of the shirt has the What on Earth is Happening logo, if you will. I call it the Awakening Earth motif with the words What on Earth is Happening in front of the Earth. And then on the back it has my all-seeing eye design that says One Great Work, Truth, Love, Freedom. And it says on it, of course, the phrase I usually end the show with, that is a quote from Buddha. It says, there are only two mistakes one can make on the path to truth, not starting and not going all the way. And then it has the whatonearthishappening.com website URL on the bottom of the back of the shirt. So if you go to the news section of the site, it's the first item there. The promotional T-shirt is available. There's a little, they're available in medium, large, extra large, and double extra large. They're only in black color and only in men's style, regular, standard, traditional T-shirt style for now. But there's a little email link you can click there. It says Ask About the What on Earth is Happening promotional shirt. If you click that, if you're interested in a shirt, I'll let you know how you can get a hold of one. So that's up on my site. I just wanted to mention it, and now I'm a complete shill. So there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. Last segment coming your way. More of your calls with our guest, Bob Tuskin. Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to What on Earth is Happening. I'm your host, Mark Passio. My website, whatonearthishappening.com. This is the last segment of tonight's broadcast. I'm with my special guest, Bob Tuskin, one of the co-hosts and organizers of the Free Your Mind 3 conference coming up April 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2015 in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Let's go back to the calls. And let's hear from Mike in California. Mike, you're live on What on Earth is Happening with our guest, Bob Tuskin. Welcome.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mike. Not totally right on the conference thing, but maybe throwing out a point I tried to call him before in the past. I've always been researching in your realms for a while now, and one question that keeps coming up to me that I've never quite heard anyone really expand on, and maybe you could get a guest that could get into detail on it, is the importance of gold throughout history. I've heard some people kind of touch on it, whether it be involved in hyperdimensional travel or whatever it might be, but I've never really gotten a really good answer as to why gold throughout history is so important to the powers that be.
Well, I'll tell you my take on it is it's just a matter of scarcity. It could be anything, and it would serve the same purpose. And I think gold just happens to be a convenient, scarce metal that is utilized to perpetuate control and in essence, scarcity. Because at the end of the day, there's technology out there that could extract certain minerals from ocean seawater and provide an abundance of gold, more gold than has ever been harvested from the planet. So the only value that I see gold having, and I don't know of any occulted rationale behind an obsession with gold, but I know the practical obsession with gold is that it's scarce, and if we keep it scarce, we keep the control, and it's the same mind control we see behind all forms of money.
Mike, I'll give you a slightly different take from my perspective, and I would recommend my podcasts number 165 and 166 on my podcast archive on my website, where I talk about this as part of the extended cosmic abandonment presentation, that the so-called intrinsic value of gold actually comes from the gods valuing of this substance for reasons that we do not really fully understand, because as I talked about in those two shows, the word intrinsic literally means what you can do with something in nature. When I tell people to consider what intrinsic value really is if you were put into the wild with no means of really sustaining yourself, what are the things that you would pretty much look for to assist you in a situation like that? You would look for food, you would look for clothing, you would look for shelter, you would look for the ability to defend yourself, and that is what would be intrinsically valuable to you. That's what intrinsic means, literally, by definition. It's something that is existing in nature inherently and possesses value. A piece of technology has intrinsic value. A structure that you can shield yourself from the elements has intrinsic value. Clothing has intrinsic value. Food and water have intrinsic value. Apart from that, if you can't do any of those things with it, feed yourself, shelter yourself, use it as a mechanism of defense from, other predators, then it's not intrinsically valuable. Okay? People use this term in the way they want it to, what they want it to mean. That's not what the word intrinsic actually means. It means what I just laid out there for you. So if it doesn't have any of those applications, it's not intrinsically valuable. Does gold supply any of those applications?
Nope.
Not one of them. Okay? You can't eat it, you can't drink it, you can't clothe yourself with it.
Well, you could eat it, but yeah.
I mean, I guess you could make some kind of a flaky, light clothing with gold flakes, but who's going to do
for breakfast, folks?
Okay.
All those T-shirt sales, Mark's eating nice 24-karat omelets.
But seriously, you can't make a weapon out of it because it's super soft. It's
James Bond, right? Golden gun, man.
So, when people talk about it as having intrinsic value, that's their definition of what intrinsic means. It's not the actual definition of the word. So, it's an ascribed value. So then what I talk about in these two podcasts is, where did that ascribed value come from? Who held it intrinsically valuable for reasons we don't understand, and then kind of, transferred that perceived value onto us? Because it had some kind of social status, because it was intrinsically valuable to these beings. And if you go back and listen to the Cosmic Abandonment presentation and the extended podcast presentation from the beginning of that section, I slowly work into that topic, and it kind of comes to fruition in shows number 165 and 166. So I just recommend you go back into the archive and check those shows out, where I give my take on why gold became popular in the human mind.
I'm going to have to check that out myself. Awesome. Mark, we have 3 more callers in only 3 minutes.
Well,
can we do it?
Let's at least take one of them. Let's hear from Nick in Ohio. Nick, you're live on What on Earth is Happening with our special guest, Bob Tuskin.
Hey, how you doing? I'll be quick. Hello?
Yes.
Yep.
You're
Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say thanks, man. You being so bold and saying what you say, even though it's not popular, whatever. It's really giving me a lot of courage too, just because I used to be all paranoid about talking to other people about this kind of stuff, But now I'm just kind of like whatever.
That makes me really happy to hear. That's a high, encouraging compliment as far as I'm concerned, because when you're bold, universal forces come to your assistance.
Right on.
Yeah, like I always, fought and learned, but I was always so passive, you know what I mean? Because I grew up real religious. You talked about the right brain. And I was always so passive and scared to act and to speak, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I've been speaking more and acting, a little bit more.
Jeez, I wish I was more like you. I got such a big mouth, I can't shut up.
I was like that when I was younger. I'm getting back to it. I'm coming full circle now.
All right, man.
The show has been helping me. I feel like I've been on this path ever since I was a kid, and this is the closest thing that I've gotten to what I was seeking. You know what I mean? Like in terms of learning about natural law. There's two interesting things I just wanted to say to people out there. Like when you're talking about ma'at and natural law, it's funny that I was researching this, and she has a kind of like a reflection or a counterpart, and her name is Sheshat, like Sheshat.
Yes.
And she's the goddess of measuring and architecture and building.
Right.
She has a seven-leafed star above her head. It looks like a marijuana leaf, and I feel like there's a connection there. But also, in terms of smoking and all that, I feel like it's good for people out there. It's good for shadow work because, like, if you are a paranoid type person, whatever, like your fears and stuff come up, or like things come from your subconscious at a higher rate, and it projects it in front of your face, so you can see exactly where you have like a masculine or feminine imbalance.
Oh, I totally agree. Cannabis can absolutely be used like that if you decide to do that and you want to work with that shadow material. It can be a very influential force to help you work with that kind of subconscious material.
One addendum to that, in addition to what you guys just mentioned, Kathy O'Brien speaks about that in her book, and I actually, when she was at the Second Free Your Mind conference, spoke with her about this. And of all the substances her handlers would allow her to have, cannabis was the most prohibited of them all.
And ladies and gentlemen, I will testify to that myself. I will corroborate that in the satanic community. Okay, cannabis is the single most frowned upon substance, because they know about its curative properties. They know about the properties that can affect consciousness with this plant, and they do not want people to engage it.
Their god Shiva, he's known for smoking, marijuana. Also, along with dreams, you know what I mean. Dreams are also good for alchemy. Also, like they show you theatrically in symbolism what your masculine, the trap that your masculine mind is putting your feminine mind in. You know what I mean? It's like abusing your emotions. It's like that abuse of the male half to the feminine half, left and right brain, whatever.
Right.
But so those things in conjunction, the marijuana and dreams in conjunction with shadow work, when you talk about, facing all your demons and all that, I know exactly what you're talking about, man. Like, I'm going to do the same thing. I feel like I'm coming to some kind of end, but it's like my final arch enemy, you know what I mean, which is my terrible social anxiety.
Nick,
but I've just decided
we're coming up to the end of the show. It's all about balance, my friend, ultimately leading to courage and right action. It's part of what the whole Free Your Mind conference is all about. Bob Tuskin, main organizer, thank you so much for being my guest. Give them the details about the conference one more time, Bob.
FreeYourMindConference.com. Check us out on Facebook. Please get your tickets now, because we can't afford to do the conference if you do not. Mark, you're the best, man.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, be part of Free Your Mind 3, April 10th through 12th, 2015, Sheraton, Bucks County, Langhorne, Pennsylvania. Bob, thanks so much. That's all the time we have for this edition. Remember, there's only 2 mistakes you can make on the path to truth: not starting and not going all the way. We'll see you right here next week, folks.